Welcome to this morning's wake-up practice, and I dedicate this flow to a beautiful lady who's asked for a wake-up yoga practice. So I'm sitting here on my mat and I'm just going to center and start to move with the breath and move the neck. Just woken up, it's early hours. And I want to go gentle. I'm just sort of slowly tapping into the nervous system, rolling the shoulders. Having said that, I have got a cappuccino on the go, and yes, there is chocolate on top. That's absolutely delicious. There we go. Need a few treats, and I've also got my scented aromatherapy. Okay, I'm going to lay down on my back, slowly coming down, and let's start to just tune into the breath. And I've got a slightly different breath practice for you this morning, something that is not a breath of fire, it's almost a breath of ice. So what I want you to do is plant the soles of the feet onto the mat and plant the palms on the mat. Feel yourself rooted, and then we're going to start to inhale through an open mouth. So inhale, and as you do, you can start to feel an icy sensation through the mouth, starting to wake you up. And then we're going to exhale through the nose. Okay, so let's continue. Give me a few rounds of the ice breath in through an open mouth. Just slightly open, just allowing the air to come in. And as it comes in, it actually cools the mouth and starts to freshen and awaken you. So in through the mouth and out through closed mouth, just through the nose. And as we take that soothing breath, let's start to connect with our center. Let's start to connect with our pelvis. So we're going to inhale through the mouth, and as we do, start to feel the belly rise. Okay, so inhale, feel the belly rise. I'm showing you with my hands. And then as we exhale, start to engage the pelvic floor, tilt the pelvic floor up, press the back into the floor. Okay, give yourself a hug. Continue to breathe slowly. You can return to a normal breath, or you can continue your ice breath. It's a really lovely breath for just kind of refreshing you. Okay, we're going to cactus the arms down to the floor, and then we're going to simply inhale to center and exhale down to the side. I'm going to float down to the right, and I'm sort of moving in opposite to you, so I'm mirroring you. Inhale, center, exhale, down to the left. Slow movements. Notice if the shoulder blades are lifting off the floor. If they are, just notice it. It's not a problem. And try and make this movement from the core, okay? Don't let the momentum of the legs take you. We're just slowly awakening up. Inhale and exhale. So inhale to top, exhale down to the side. And then maybe let's start to pop a little bit of neck movement in there. So inhale, bring everything to center. And then as you exhale, drop the neck to one side and drop the legs to the other. And you might start to feel that your shoulders are actually pinning to the ground quite nicely now as things are starting to open up. Okay, let's do that one more time. Down to the side and inhale back to center. Okay, give yourself a hug. Roll yourself into a little ball and just massage out the sacrum. I'm just kind of rolling around here. So that's a really nice thing to do when you've just woken up. Maybe just massage out the lower spine, the lumbar spine. And now I'm going to take the knees a little bit wider and just press the knees towards the armpits. just opening up the hips a little bit. Okay, let's roll over the top and just come into a cross-legged position, Sukhasana. I'm going to tie my hair back up, just get that out of my face. Okay, find a comfortable spot. If you find it uncomfortable to sit in cross legs, you can always pop a pillow under your bottom. Okay, let's do some seated cat and cow. So here, I'm collapsing the chest, taking the chin down to the chest and pushing the spine to the back of the room. That's our cat. And then I'm going to do the opposing movement here, then thrust the chest forward, draw the shoulder blades together, extend the neck, and that's cow. So cat and cow from a seated position. You can place your hands on the knees, you can place the palms to the ceiling, just do what feels natural to you. Just gently waking up the spine. Okay, exhale and inhale. Lovely, get comfortable. And then we're going to start to open up the shoulders. So 3 arm swings and plant the hand on the opposite knee, and then let's take the other arm back. Take that behind you. Sit tall, inhale, so long spine, and then twist to the back of the room. The back shoulder is aiming towards the back of the room. Let's take it forward. Cross the arms over, lift them. Start to recross and then clasp, and then let's go into an eagle pose. So feel the stretch across the back. Give me an inhale and exhale. So inhale to rise, exhale to fall. Lovely. And then let's take a twist. So a bit of a corkscrew twist. Take the arms away from the leg at the front. Okay, and again, just feel a slightly different dimension in the back. Okay, let's start to work the other side. So swoop the arm forwards, land on the opposite knee, and then take the opposite arm back. Big shoulder swings. Plant the hand behind you. Inhale, sit tall, and twist to the back of the room. Trying to send that shoulder to the back of the room. Okay, so twisting through the thoracic spine. Don't hold the breath. Bring the arm forwards. Clasp opposite arms, arms are crossed. Take them into eagle pose. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, take the arms down. Feel the stretch through the back, only working the opposite side now. Inhale, exhale. Lovely. Fabulous. Deep inhale and exhale. And just cross the legs over, and then take a twist away from the dominant leg. And again, just getting a slightly different dynamic through the back there. And release, shake it out. Roll the shoulders, backwards and forwards. Okay, shuffle to the back of the mat, and let's just come onto all fours into our tabletop position, Chakravakasana. And from here, we're just going to add a little dimension. So we're going to find neutral spine. Now let's take the fingers and place them towards the knees, and we're just going to stretch out the wrists as we go into our cat pose. So press the spine up to the ceiling, press away from the floor. Okay, and now take the fingers forwards, tuck the toes under, and as we go into cow and spinal extension, just sit back into the heels and give the toes a stretch. So let's go for the opposite action again. So stretching out the wrists and pushing the back to the ceiling. Now coming forwards, tucking the toes under, inhale. That's it, squeeze through the toes. So we're sort of doing multiple actions here. We're limited on time. It's a morning stretch. Press up through the back, take the fingers forward, tuck the toes under. Extension through the spine. There we go. Okay, now let's take a twist. So place the right hand to the center of the mat. Take the left hand up and feed it through. Drop the head to the floor. And try and bring the bottom shoulder forwards and the top shoulder back. And you can help by twisting the arm behind you. Take a few breaths. Slowly waking up the spine in all different ranges. Okay, let's come out and just retwist. Now take the left hand to the center of the mat, twist the right arm up and feed it through. Drop down to the mat. Be mindful, we're trying to get the low shoulder, so the bottom shoulder, towards the edge of the mat. And now take the top shoulder and try and draw that open to the ceiling. Remember to breathe, don't hold your breath here. We're holding poses, we're not holding our breath. Okay, come back to center. Press into the ground and let's just start to engage the core. Hover the knees off the ground. Think about what's coming next. We're going to press up to our first downward facing dog. We're on tiptoes and now drop the heels to the floor. Inhale, up to ball foot. Exhale, send the heels down to the mat. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, up to ball foot. Exhale, drive the heels down to the mat. If you don't reach the mat with the heels, that's not a problem. You can put a bend in the knees. Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Let's lift our right leg in the air, bend the knee joint, and inhale, and as you exhale, drive the bottom heel down to the floor, create a seal, and now take a twist. Look forwards to where we're going. The elbow comes to the same knee, float the foot to the opposite side of the mat and come into our first pigeon stretch. But we're going to keep moving here, we're not going to stay. So we're just going to press up and down, a moving pigeon. Send the elbows back, starting to engage the shoulders. We're just going to do that 3 times. Inhale on the up and exhale on the down. Tuck the toes under, press back, send that leg into the air, opening up the hip. Drop the foot down to the floor and we remain on ball foot. Inhale, exhale down to the mat. Inhale, ball foot, exhale down to the mat. Starting to stretch out the hamstrings. Okay, let's start to stretch through the opposite side now. So we're going to sweep the left leg up to the air. Feel the stretch through the hamstring, open up the hips, still on the ball foot, and now release the heel down to the floor. As we fix 3 points on the floor, we start to increase the stretch. Now drive the same knee to the same elbow, float the foot to the opposite side of the mat, and sink down into pigeon pose. And we're going to continue to move in this stretch. Inhale, exhale, sending the elbows down. Inhale, come up, exhale, come down. Give me one more. Inhale and exhale down to the mat. Okay, press into the floor, tuck the back toe under, come back up into a 3-legged dog. Float the leg down to the floor and just pedal out. Start to feel the hamstrings awaken. Start to feel the back of the body stretch. Just press back, maybe take a twist from one side to the other. You use this pose as you see fit, whatever feels good. Okay, we're going to stride the right leg up to the sky, and we're going to take the knee and bring it into the chest and plant it between the hands at the front of the mat. We're coming into our first Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge, and drive the hips forwards. Let's take the hands behind us, clasp the hands together and open up the chest. Really press that front heel into the mat. Okay, we're going to lift the back knee off the ground and we're going to take a twist out to the right hand side and really start to draw the chest open. Okay, now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So front knee is bent and we're simply twisting out to the inside and flexing and extending that front knee. Press into the floor and come up to your first warrior 2. Try and open up through the hips and then sink down low. Okay, and come up to the sky, and now let's retreat to the back of the mat, retreating warrior. Feel the stretch through the inner thigh of the front leg, back to warrior 2. External rotation of the hips, keep the bend in the leg, and now let's go to a retreating warrior. Feel the stretch down the side body. and then sink into the front leg, into our side angle pose. Okay, straighten the front leg, glide forwards, and we're going to come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Feel the stretch. Try to put a micro bend in that front leg. If you want, you can take the front arm away and twist the top shoulder back, just adding a little bit more of a dynamic twist. Okay, back to where we were, triangle, warrior two, reverse. Let's cartwheel the arms, release the back heel, and come into a three-legged dog. Come forwards, high plank, tricep dip to hover. If you want to, you can hit the decks here, not a problem, you don't have to hover. Push back, downward facing dog. And we're going to do that little sequence on the other side. So pedal push, focus, sweep the left leg up to the sky into a three-legged dog. Take the knee and drive it into the chest. Look where you're going, plant that foot to the front of the mat, and let's come back into our crescent lunge on the opposite side. Really driving the hips forward, stretching through the hip flexors. This is our morning stretch. This feels really good. So take deep breaths. If you want to, you can sweep the hands behind you, draw the shoulder blades together, open up the chest. Feel the stretch through the upper body. Okay, back knee is lifted. All the weight is through the front heel of the left leg, and we're twisting out to the left side. Draw the chest open, draw the shoulder blade back. Bring that hand to the front, and let's peel our body open to the opposite side. Okay, extend through that front knee joint and rebend. Press through the front heel, and with all your might, come on up to warrior two. Sink as low as feels comfortable. This is your first warrior two of the morning. Externally rotate the hips and then sink down. Draw the inner thighs together. Take a deep breath. Okay, we're coming into that retreating warrior. Feel the stretch through the front leg adductor, so the inner thigh. Now come back to warrior two, to the front of the mat. Flip that front palm and reverse your warrior. Feel the stretch all the way up the side body, and then sink in the opposite direction now into our side angle pose. Okay, we're coming forwards, extending that front leg, gliding forwards into our triangle. Feeling the stretch up the side body and the inner thigh. Take the arm forwards, we can hover. Just take the shoulder blade back. Do what feels good for you. Back to triangle, sink into warrior two. Reverse the warrior. Get ready, we're going to cartwheel the arms all the way over. Release the back heel, sweep the left leg back up into the sky, and tricep dip with leg in the air if you wish. And from here, we're just going to take one tricep dip, just warming up the shoulders. And we've hit the mat now, and come down to the mat. And inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, take the hands behind you, and let's come into Shalabhasana, locust pose. And just stretch out the front of the body, squeeze the glutes and float the chest off of the mat. Remember to breathe here and exhale down. Okay, let's take the legs off and the chest, float back down. Hands press into the floor. Let's just press back now into Balasana, child's pose. I'm keeping the knees wide, I'm opening the hips, that feels really good. Okay, we're going to make our way down to the mat, and we're just going to take one last pigeon stretch, but we're going to stay in pigeon for a little bit longer this time. So sweep the right leg up to the sky. Take the right knee to the right elbow, float the right foot to the left-hand side of the mat and slowly sink yourself down into a nice deep pigeon. Okay, if the wrists hurt, you can come onto fists. Inhale and exhale, just starting to open up the hips. Maybe stretch out the neck. If you want to take a twist here, you can. Remember to breathe. So we're staying in this pigeon pose slightly longer than we did before. We were moving in the pigeon before. Now we're just breathing and feeling where it feels tight. Now sit onto your bottom and we're going to come into a half butterfly stretch. And from here we're going to sweep the right arm up to the sky and fold over the extended leg over to the left. Okay. Just feel the stretch down the side body. Remember to breathe. Revolve the chest open. You can take the arm behind you. And then from here, I'm just going to walk out to center. Inhale and exhale, extend forwards, and you should feel a beautiful stretch through the lower back and also through the inner thigh. If you want to take one hand on top of the other and just rest your forehead onto the little stand that you've made, just take a few breaths and hang out here. Inhale, exhale. Okay, let's walk right back round to the front and tuck the toe under, send it back, three-legged dog, and place both feet on the floor. Now let's go to the opposite side. You'll be able to see what I'm doing here now. So left knee drives up to left elbow, float the left foot to the right side of the mat and sink down into pigeon pose. Remember, I'm working on the opposite here, so I'm mirroring you. Okay. Where do you feel the tension? Send your breath to that area. Where do you feel it? Inhale and exhale. I'm going to take a twist. Out to the side. Okay, back to center. And slowly lower yourself onto your bottom, come into that half butterfly stretch, and you can see me from the front now. So I'm going to extend. So the side where the leg is bent, extend that arm up and then fold over towards the extended leg. Really revolve your chest up to the sky. You can take your elbow, clasp your hands behind your head, and just breathe. You can create a little stand with the elbow on the knee or just inside the knee and breathe. Feel the stretch through the lower parts of the back and walk to center. Exhale, walk the hands out. You can rest your forearms on the ground or create a little stand like we did before. Just rest your forehead here, or you can rest your chin, whatever feels comfortable to you. Take a few breaths. Feel the stretch in the lower back, possibly in the outer hip and the inner thigh. Breathe. Okay, walk back round to center. And we're just going to push back up to a downward facing dog. And slowly walk in here, one step at a time. Pop a bend in the knees if you want to. And 45 degrees on the feet and slowly sink the pelvis. Let's come into Malasana, our Buddha squats. So we're sinking the pelvis down to the ground and we're trying to keep the chest relatively high. The heels, we're trying to drive down to the ground. If you have trouble with the heels and they're lifting, you can roll your mat behind you or place a cushion. And now we're going to slowly sink down into Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose or butterfly pose. You can feed your hands under your legs and try to cradle your forehead into the nook of the feet in front of you. Feeling the stretch through the inner thigh, the outer hip. Again, if that's too intense, you can create a kickstand with the hands, or you could get a pillow here or a cushion and pop that under the head. You have to do whatever feels good for you. Okay? So feel the stretch and breathe. And now we're going to slowly float back down to the mat and just reconnect with the breath, placing one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. And start to inhale deeply, filling the belly. And exhale, empty everything out. You may breathe in through the mouth and exhale through the nose. You may choose to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just do what feels good to you. Okay, bring those hips together. Give yourself one final hug, one final stretch. Rolling from side to side. And then let's roll from front to back and come to a seated position, feeling really lovely now. That's it, just crossing the legs from side to side and stretching forwards. That's it, just take the ear to the shoulder, clasp the hands behind the back, open up the chest. We're waking up. Everything feels that bit more open. And press the knees into the ground, take the chest up to the sky and cross the legs and go the opposite way. So really opening up the chest, opening up, feeling stretch through the biceps, just saying thank you for this wonderful practice this morning. That feels great.